Good evening, this is the Oscar expert here, and we have a fucking emergency. We have an emergency situation going on here. Today on Twitter, I saw a tweet that said, I'm hearing that Michelle Williams is actually going to go lead. And I was like, psh, people hear things. It doesn't make sense. That just doesn't feel like the reality that we're in.
Why is this not the reality? Because we've seen Fabelmans. Everybody who's seen Fabelmans, it's just easy to be like, that's a supporting actress performance. Like, we've seen it so many times. The film is about the young sprouting lad, and his mother goes supporting and wins or is nominated for an Oscar.
Just wins. Because everybody had pretty much considered Michelle Williams a slam dunk winner in the supporting actress category. And, people don't like to use the term, you can't say the race is over in September. It's like sometimes you come pretty close to being sure. Okay, it just seemed like it was going to happen. And then another article comes out on Variety basically confirming it. And it is confirmed that the studio at this point in time says they're going to put her in lead. And I just didn't know what to do with myself. I just didn't know what to do. I just paced around the room did not know how to handle this. Thought maybe I needed an ambulance. Just didn't understand things. Felt confused, afraid.
She was gonna win the Oscar. She was nearly guaranteed the Oscar. Everyone wanted to give her the Oscar for this category, and suddenly, why would the studio do this? It just doesn't make any sense. There's a trophy waiting for her. She has to do literally nothing in order to get it, and they're like, now we're going to move the trophy over here so you probably won't get it. Or will she? Or will she? That's what we're here to discuss. And which trophy will she get is the question. Which trophy? Because the studio says, we would like to campaign you in lead, putting it in voters' minds that she will be in the lead. But as we know, this does not mean that she will get a lead nomination. It means she could still get supporting actress nomination.
If the Academy decides, you know what, no, I'm voting for her in this category. And we saw that most recently with Lakeith Stanfield, as we all remember, with Judas and the Black Messiah. And it also happened with Kate Winslet in The Reader, where the studio was trying to campaign her in supporting. In that case, it was mostly because they didn't want her competing against Revolutionary Road. They didn't want her competing against herself. So they tried to sell that she was supporting, but she got nominated in lead. Now, let's give you a rundown. What happens if voters don't know what to do and they're voting in two different categories? What happens is, whichever category they do better in, they get the nomination there. That is a possible thing that could happen, is she splits votes between lead and supporting. Because if you break it down, how the season's going to go, and you think about it, I don't think a lot of critics groups are going to agree with this placement. A lot of critics groups are probably going to say she's supporting. Some are going to have her in lead, and they're going to follow the campaigning, and some are going to have her in supporting. Then there's some bodies like the Golden Globes who have done things, for example, like putting Rooney Mara for Carol and Alicia Vikander for The Danish Girl. They said, no, that's not supporting, that's lead. The BAFTAs also sometimes do this. Will they step in and say, sorry, this is supporting? Or will people get in line? Because we saw the movie knowing she's supporting, thinking about it in that context, but now you have a whole new generation of moviegoers who are going to see this movie with it in mind that she's lead, and maybe they'll just conform to that. I don't know.
I don't think so, though, because we don't see leads that are 30% of the movie, or even this might be 28% of the movie screen time wise. She has more screen time than any other character, but the movie's about little Steven. Little Steven is in every scene. Michelle Williams is in some scenes. She's the biggest story that's not little Steven's life, but she disappears for some chunks of the movie. She does.
It doesn't even feel like something like Viola Davis and Ma Rainey, or even Viola Davis in Fences. It feels like a supporting performance.
And the weirdest thing of all is that we're seeing a studio campaign someone who could be in supporting legitimately and say, no, you're a lead. We never see that shit. We always see someone who could easily be campaigned in lead, and yet the studio goes, you have a better chance in supporting, actually. We're going to campaign you there. Just like Mahershala Ali in Green Book or Judas and the Black Messiah. Daniel Kaluuya had that trophy in a handbasket walk because that guy, he was a lead. There were 2 leads in Judas, and he was one of the leads. And so I've kind of accepted that if you have like competing actors and you just want to get one of them nominated, like I'm usually okay with you just splitting them up. And this fucks a whole lot of things up because, for example, like the Golden Globes saying, "Oh yeah, actually this is a lead performance," or the BAFTA saying, "This is a lead performance, not a supporting." That's a correction that prevents you from spoiling the supporting category by putting leads into it. But you can't spoil the harder category to penetrate by putting supporting in it.
Yeah.
So will Golden Globes and BAFTA try to correct that, or will they say like, I don't know, I mean, sure, that's fine. Like, you're not spoiling the party for anybody.
Yeah, I just don't know what the studio's thinking where they're like, what if category fraud, but like the other way around that doesn't benefit anybody in our cast. Like, and it's not even like there's another person to nominate in supporting actress. It's not like they're making room for anybody. I heard maybe this is because like Michelle Williams and her agent or whatever, like whoever decides this.
You didn't hear that.
I heard that they want her to be seen as a leading lady.
Is that what they said?
And not just, this is not official. This is
I just
a rumor.
want to know if this is a rumor.
It is a rumor. It's purely a rumor. There's going to be rumors that go on the whole year about why this happened, I guess.
Well, unless someone just comes out and says it, which they might. I wonder if the studio is doing this because they think she can win in lead, or because they just don't care and they want a lead nomination. Like, I'm really not sure. Because they have to know that they're giving up the prize, that she's not going to win if she's in lead.
They may have some confidence. I mean, she still is Michelle Williams, who has 4 nominations, possibly 5 coming up. But this year was looking so win competitive in this actress category. Like, there's a great case to make for the win for Michelle Yeoh, Margot Robbie, and Cate Blanchett. Michelle Williams, like, there's a case to make, and her movie is going to be really big, like a top 2 contender for Best Picture. But does the performance feel enough like a lead performance? Does she have enough screen time to win in lead? I mean, Anthony Hopkins probably had less screen time for Silence of the Lambs, and he still won, but I don't know if you could compare that. It just feels like a supporting performance. Even that felt like a lead performance.
I don't think she will win in lead. I just don't think so.
I'm not going to say it's like impossible, but I think it seems pretty unlikely.
So assuming that there's not any confusion or any dispute down the road about which category the Academy voters should vote her in on, does she get a nomination? I think probably.
Yeah, I mean, there is a world, I guess, where she doesn't get nominated. Some people are thinking that. I don't really buy it. The other thing is, like, could she split votes with herself? Like, if voters are confused, are some of them going to vote her supporting and some of them lead, and could that hurt her? I also wonder if she would have been number 1 in supporting, and even if she does split votes, like, wouldn't she still have enough to be nominated in supporting? Like, we're not going to fucking know until the nominations which category she actually shows up in. We can just make our best guess throughout the year.
I think it will matter, though, if she's being nominated and supporting at other awards bodies. Then that will really confuse people.
Kate Winslet for The Reader, though, people were very confused. Very, very confused. Like, she was, like, if you look down on, like, scrolling on IMDb, it was like lead, supporting, lead, supporting. It was nuts. So nobody knew what to do with that. So I do think that she would probably get nominated in lead. Still. And then supporting is interesting because we had an easy front runner, we didn't even have to think about who the runner-up was because there was no point. But now there's a question. Who would win as long as she is not nominated? And I really don't know, because most people will default to Claire Foy, which I get because Claire Foy has some undeniable Oscar scenes in Women Talking. But will Women Talking have a problem where voters don't really know how to distinguish who's the best? Like, are we going to single file a line behind somebody from that movie, despite the fact that there are many very good performances, possibly 2 that will even be nominated together? We don't even know for sure that both of them will be nominated. We've had scenarios like with Spotlight where we thought we'd get 2, or like with Belfast and supporting actor, we thought we might get 2 for a little bit, and one of them just doesn't happen.
I mean, who else is in that category?
I don't know. You got Carrie Condon, you got potentially Stephanie Sue, Hong Chow. You have actually a lot of things going on in this category. This is a very tight category. So in a way, I don't mind that there's like an opening here because it was very competitive.
Well, here's my conspiracy brain going. When I heard this, I said, what else does Universal have The only other awards movie that they have where they could campaign someone in supporting is She Said. But I'm not going to go down that route because I still think it would be a silly decision to make even if you were confident in someone from She Said. And the problem is they don't have a reason to be confident in someone from She Said because no one has seen that movie yet. But I suppose, you know, if you want to play that game, maybe it does give them a better shot at getting one of those slots for She Said. For somebody.
Like, if they fraud one of the leads supporting, okay. But also, why would they boot someone completely out who had the win in the bag to get somebody nominated?
I don't think that that's, like, the goal to do it.
There are a lot of people who are playing 5D chess, and they're like, well, if Michelle Williams isn't nominated, then that means Stephanie Sue can win. And, like, they didn't even have her in the top 3, but, like, all of a sudden she's number 1. And people are thinking weird shit like that. I've seen theories about how Margot Robbie could go supporting now, and I can't possibly just get that ahead of myself at the moment. Like, we'll see if that shit happens. But it is chaos. Like, this is pure chaos.
Yep. Right now, The Fabelmans to me is looking like a little bit shaky. And what kind of number of wins can that movie get? So if it wins picture, what else could it go along with? I think it's become the frontrunner in director. Like, that's fine. Sure. Okay, it could win director. Screenplay, it's competitive with Everything Ever All at Once. Perhaps Best Picture comes down to Best Screenplay, just like last year with Coda versus Power and the Dog, and we just need to be paying attention to that category and what happens there. But, like, Fabelman's getting Screenplay, Director, Picture. Is that, like, the biggest package it could get? Like, what else could it win? If it's not winning an acting category
I don't really buy Fabelman's winning any techs. I mean, I thought Michelle Williams seemed like a very integral part of that movie's potential win package. Like, even if you said supporting actress, director, picture, like, I could buy that pretty easily. Like, I guess I could buy a screenplay, director, picture, but we haven't really gotten a package like that. Well, Parasite basically got that. But I don't know if The Fabelmans is going to take screenplay so easy. I mean, I guess
it also just makes me wonder, like, when I look at those and then I say, oh, that's what people were saying about Power of the Dog. And then, like, you get a couple knocked off, you lose a couple Jenga blocks, and then all of a sudden the whole tower, like, doesn't look so good. But, you know, we might be getting ahead of ourselves. She could still be nominated in supporting, though. I honestly think she could be, especially if awards bodies are splitting her throughout the year and there's confusion, or people are just like, yeah, I want to see her win, so I'm going to vote for her in supporting actress. Because this idea that she would win was, like, very strong for that category. So she could still win supporting actress. It's going to fuck up my predictions for the rest of the year because I'm not going to know where to put her in each category, but she's going to be on each list somewhere. There's another scenario where she doesn't get nominated because people are just confused.
Or just they don't think that it needs a lead actress nomination.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's, like, the worst case. I think she'll get nominated somewhere. It would be insane if The Fabelmans went without getting her nominated somewhere. That would be a massive fucking failure on their part of their campaign team. Like, enormous failure.
Also, you know what's weird is that I said after Lakeith Stanfield happened, I was like, now every year people are going to, like, pretend like there's going to be maybe another Lakeith Stanfield, like, random nomination where they don't follow the campaigning. And it's actually pretty reasonable to think that that could happen this year. As rare as it is, and as much as I would normally never try to predict that, like, you could definitely make the case that will happen this year now. I honestly feel like I've never seen anything like this.
Because nobody puts something that's supporting into lead. No one does that anymore. They just fraud everything into supporting.
I mean, what if they, like, rescind that and they're like, oh, actually, yeah.
I don't think they're going to take it back. It feels like they knew exactly what kind of decision this was. I would love to pick their brain. I would love to just see what was going on in their heads.
Should interview them for the channel.
But honestly, if they feel like we want her to be seen as lead, and we don't care if she wins. You know, Michelle Williams, we talked to her. She doesn't care about winning an Oscar. We just feel that she is a lead and she should be honored as a lead. Then I respect it. You know, it's not always about winning Oscars, I guess, but also, like, you're a campaign team. So again, I want to know what's going on in your brain.
But winning an Oscar also, like, makes their movie more successful. So it's not just about, like, whether or not the person wants one. Potentially a big fun adventure for all of us to enjoy. And also, now that we've talked about this in this video, we don't have to go as in-depth in our next predictions video.
Which is coming soon.
Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing.
Are you a supporting or a lead in your own life?